Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Programming and Artificial Intelligence. Today we will start a new chapter, Object Oriented Programming System. Okay, this will be a theory session and I will directly explain from my book. This is the e-copy of my book, Object Oriented Programming System. Okay, now what is Object Oriented Programming System? Object-oriented programming is an approach to program organization and development that attempts to eliminate some of the pitfalls of conventional programming method by incorporating the best of structured programming feature with several powerful new concepts. Okay, it is a new way of organizing and developing programs and has nothing to do with any particular language. So if you know the object oriented programming uh, system, you can apply this concept by in almost any object oriented programming language. Okay, now let us see what is object oriented paradigm. Okay, the major motivating factor in the invention of object oriented approach is to remove some of the flaws encountered in the procedural approach. Okay, so object oriented programming systems, or OOP in short, treats data as a critical element in the program development and does not allow it to flow freely around the system. It ties data more closely to the function that operate on it, and it protects it from accidental modification from outside function. OOP allows decomposition of a problem into a smaller number of entities called objects and then builds data and function around these objects. Okay, the organization of data and function in the object oriented program is shown in the figure below. This guy, you can see there. Okay, the data of an object can be accessed only by the function associated with that object. However, function of one object can access the function of other objects. You got my point, what I am telling? See, there are three objects here. Object A, object B, and say this is object C, okay? And all of these objects are having some private data, and this private data of object A cannot access from object B or C. However, this data can be accessed via those public functions. Okay, we will see this in the practical. So let us learn the concept today. Some of the features of object-oriented programming systems are as follows. So generally the emphasis is on data rather than the procedure. Okay, programs are divided into What is known as object? Data structures are designed such that they characterize the object. Okay? Functions that operates on the data of an object are tied together in the data structure. So in most of the cases, data is hidden and it cannot be accessed by external function. Object may communicate with others through function. Okay, new data and functions can be easily added whenever necessary, and it follows bottom up approach in program design. Okay, now let us see some basic concepts of object oriented programming. Okay, it is necessary to understand some of these concepts which are used extensively in the object oriented programming languages, okay, or the object oriented construct. These include classes, objects, data abstraction and encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding. So let us discuss these concepts now. And remember, you would definitely get some questions in interview from this part, object oriented programming. Okay, so you have to know the OPS concept very well when you appear in any interview. So what is actually a class or classes? Classes are the blueprints or design of the object. The entire set of data and code of an object can be made a user-defined data type with the help of a class. Okay, in fact, objects are variables of that class. You can think that uh, you go to a real estate builder and the builder shows you some blueprints of their design, means building design, and you would choose the building design, and afterwards you can go for constructing your own house, right? So that building design is what? That is actually the blueprint. And when some engineer use that blueprint and it creates the physical objects, that is the building, right? So this class is nothing but a blueprint or design for an object, and when that design is physically constructed, okay, then we call it as an object. Okay, so objects are the basic runtime entities in the object oriented programming system. Okay, so they may represent a person, a place, a bank account, okay, a table of data, or any item, you know, that the program has to handle. They may also represent user defined data types such as the vectors, types, list, and so on. Okay, now let us discuss data abstraction and data encapsulation. You will certainly get an interview question on data abstraction and encapsulation. So the wrapping of data and function in a single unit, which we call class, okay, is known as encapsulation. Data and encapsulation is almost striking feature of a class. The data is not accessible to the outside world, and only those functions which are wrapped in the class can access it. The functions, okay, that provide the interface between the objects, data and the program. This insulation of data from direct access by the program is called information hiding or data hiding. Okay, now abstraction refers to the act of representing essential features without including the background details or explanation. Classes uses the concept of abstraction and are defined as a list of abstract attributes such as size, weight, cost, okay, and the function operate on those attributes. They encapsulate all the essential properties of the object that are to be created. The attributes are sometimes called data member because they hold information. Okay, the function that operates on this data are sometimes called methods or member function. Generally in object-oriented programming systems, the functions are mostly called as methods. Okay. Now let us see what is inheritance. This is also one of an important concept of object-oriented programming systems, and you will certainly get an interview question. Okay, so let us discuss what is inheritance. So inheritance is a process by which object of one class acquired the properties of another ob properties of objects of another class. Okay, it supports the concept of hierarchical classification. So in the figure below, uh, so this figure is the inheritance tree of a vehicle class. Now see, the parent class is the vehicle. Okay, it has few properties. So the properties may be the vehicle must have a steering, some wheels, okay, and other properties, and car can inherit. Okay, this car may be electric car, petrol car or anything. Then truck can inherit from this vehicle, so truck is another type of variable. So this is the figure of the inheritance tree. Okay, I hope you understand what is inheritance. So let me scroll up. This is one of the most important interview question. What is polymorphism? Okay, so polymorphism, it's a Greek word. Poly means having many, right? It means the ability to take more than one form or many form, and an operation may exhibit different behavior, okay, in different instances. So there is a spelling mistake here, I need to correct it. Anyway, I will do that. So the behavior depends upon the type of the data used in operation. For example, we have a base class, okay, shape, and it has a draw method, okay, and that draw method writes This is the draw method of base class. Now, a circle is also a shape. When this circle is created, it can inherit from its base class member functions, right? So here, when this circle class means it will call this function. If it wish, it may override it. So so in the circle object, so you can override that method, and you can write, say, draw method from circle. Okay, similarly in box and triangle. Okay, so the base class shape draw methods which draws a window. Circle is a derived class. Okay, it derived from its base class and it has inherited the function. However, it has overridden that particular methods, and which would actually draw a circle and so on. So this is an example of polymorphism. Now let us talk about dynamic binding. Dynamic binding, or what is binding? First, binding refers to the linking of a procedure call to the code to be executed in response to a call. Okay, dynamic binding means the code associated with a given procedure call is not known until the time of the call at runtime. Okay, it is associated with polymorphism and inheritance. So you may get an interview question, what is dynamic binding? Okay, you may also get some questions like what is a compile time binding. Okay, so a function associated with a polymorphic reference depends on this dynamic type of that reference. For example, we have seen this class, right? So when this draw method will be called at runtime only, the compiler would decide which draw function to call. Call this overridden draw function, or call the draw function of its base class. So it is known only at runtime. So this is dynamic binding. Okay. Okay, so I think I have completed this chapter, and in next chapter we will continue what is classes and objects, and I think we have some programs. We will do certain programs also, right? Okay. Okay, let me close this, stop this tutorial here. We will see in the next tutorial. Stay tuned and do subscribe my channel, and also refer you know to your friends. Thank you so much and have a nice day.